Hello, welcome everybody to the New Blood After Show. Kind of breaking down each episode of our new season of Survivor Wisconsin Season 7, New Blood. We got 13 new faces to our game. They played in other ones, other live reality games, but they're all new to ours. So for this podcast this season, we got Steib, Richie, and Aleks going to be taking this over, giving us their insight, their thoughts. They were there helping out, so they know the ins and outs. They're not going to spoil anything for you, but they're going to give great insight. All of them have played, so they know how it goes. I don't have one, but I haven't either, so what do I know? But I just want to say before I get out of here and let these three take over is I couldn't have done the season without them three helping out, filming. They did a lot, so the season isn't possible without them three. So I think it's the least I can do is to let them share their thoughts on this season. So that's all I have to say. Big win for Tribe Bully going, actually not a big win. Tribe Bully sending someone home. Tribe Buku got the win. So, I'm excited to hear what these three have to say, and they're going to be doing this most likely every episode, after every episode. So stay tuned for that always. And episode 2, Thursday. Get ready. So see you guys. Have fun.
See you, Devin. Thank you.
Thank you, Devin. Alrighty. Welcome. Episode 1 breakdown. Devin said a little bit about it before. Again, if you guys need a reminder of my name's Richie, Rich Dog. I'm one of the OGs. Here we have Steib and Aleks.
Hello.
Testing 1, 2, 3.
So we are going to be talking about the premiere of Survivor Wisconsin 7 New Blood. If you have not already watched it, the hell are you doing? Go watch it. Go watch all of our seasons. They're fun. Come on, go watch them if you haven't already. We are going to be talking about everything that happened in the premiere, and I think the best way to start it off, unless any of you guys have something you want to quickly say before we start it off, is by talking about the initial tribe selection. Do you guys have anything else you want to say before I start going off?
No, go ahead, man. You seem really into it right now, so
lead the way.
You're rolling, yeah.
All right, so we do start with the tribe picks, the tribe selections, whatever you want to call it. It was announced a couple times that there was supposed to be a 14th player. There were predetermined tribes. However, 14th person dropped. Womp womp. That's a mood. But long story short, there was supposed to be that, but because of that, we ended up having to dive into a whole backup plan where we ended up splitting them into random groups via a ball pick from a bag. And if you guys have watched our past seasons, you may remember my first season, actually, we did something like this where we drew balls from a bag. And we drew balls from a bag, and it definitely got to the point where some people were able to pick tribes from that, yada, yada. But it was a little different than that. Definitely better, more fair, because everyone just picked a color ball, determined what color tribe they were on. And the long story short of that is we had 2 tribes. In lime green that I'm repping tonight, why, you'll find out later, we had John, Ben, Zach, Annika, Maddie, and Kira. And on red, I believe called Vuku, was Taylor, Rebecca, Natalie, Tyler, I'm so bad with names, Will and Atticus. Everyone. And that left poor Miras on Exile Island. And I will say, I definitely feel bad for Miras because, again, my first season, I'm not going to spoil everything and go on to rabbit trails with this. My first season, that kind of happened where I was exiled, not picked. I was exiled, and I can talk about this more in a quick minute, but I do feel for Miras. So before I go into that, Aleks, Steib, what are your initial thoughts on starting tribes and how it was divided and the exile twist in general before I say my thoughts on it?
I think the exile twist was a great way to. I'm sorry, which Aleks were you talking to?
I'll go first.
If you go first.
It does suck having to, kind of go back on what we had all planned out in the first place, but the random draws really did end up really well for each tribe. It's a good split for 3 and 3 for both girls and boys. And sure Amiris did go to exile, but we'll see in the upcoming episodes if she comes back or not, or how that all works out. Actually, no, she will come back next episode on the Bully Tribe, so we'll kind of see how she kind of works her way into that whole mess now. But yeah, the tribe swap, the tribe picks wasn't the worst thing in the world, so we'll kind of see how that goes.
Yeah, I definitely will say that for Amiris, I felt so bad for her because, again, as I said, that happened my first season. I was exiled right off the bat, and that immediately puts you at such a despairing position in the game. Because, well, granted, my season was a little bit different, where if you go back and watch it, you'll see where we had only 2 balls were different colors, and those made you a captain. You had the tribe pick. That was, I have my own opinions on that. I'm not going to say, to be nice, and to not make it too long. Jokes aside, the long story short, is that essentially I was the one not picked. I was exiled, and I was in a similar position as Amiris, where I had to kind of get into a tribe where the dynamics were already formed. They're already there. And I'm kind of struggling along, just freaking out. What am I going to do? I'm screwed, And it definitely was very much overwhelming coming into that spot. So for Amiris, I hope to God we can see her kind of overcome that, because that is something I definitely empathize with. Because it definitely is very difficult when you already have set dynamics and you already have a bunch of side stuff going on and just so much stress going on with the game alone. And on the top of that, you have to weasel your way in somehow. So whether or not she does or doesn't, who knows? I don't believe we had any more exile content this episode outside of just she's there. So unless you guys think that I should say something else about it, we could probably get into this early dynamics of each tribe pre-challenge.
I do want to say sorry.
I got something to say.
Actually, Maris,
okay, you guys say
Maris. I do want to apologize for that. Okay, go ahead, Steib.
Where was I? So I think the exile twist was a fair compromise to the spirit of the game of Survivor and trying to keep it fair for all 13 people that showed up. And we thank them for a very entertaining season. We loved producing it, and we are excited to finally air it slowly. And we hope that everybody that's in the viewing audience enjoys what we got here, because I think this is a very entertaining season. And it's unfortunate that he who shall not be named ended up no showing. Those who are there know who he is, so it's all right. But I think it's a fair compromise, because, well, we were able to take all these players and just dump them on their heads already and throw that big first twist right there, right at the beginning. And that switched up a lot of dynamics in the game. And I thought that was a very fair way to start off a very interesting season full of some very experienced players.
All right.
All right. Yeah, so I see we have a lot of this season's cast watching this. We're very glad you guys are able to watch this. We're grateful everyone was able to play. We have some other fans and even past players that are probably watching this. So let's get to it. We first go, I believe, to Bulai wearing green. And there's definitely a lot of fun characters on the tribe, as we end up seeing throughout the episode. They're all just going to normal introduction stuff like, my name is who, my name is what. And I definitely think it was really fun. We get a really fun introduction to Ben, who immediately goes off and is all like, I'm an insurance agent, but I'm going to tell him I'm a teacher because that's very sketchy, And I saw that and I just started dying because I thought that was really funny. I kind of get the mantra of it, but I don't know. I mean, if anyone would have cared if he was an insurance agent or not. Ben made a funny comment. I'm a teacher. Ben, you're a teacher of lies. Sorry, jokes aside. A lot of really fun dynamics early on. We get a lot of really fun people, and I don't know if there's really too much to say if I'm forgetting something. I definitely feel like I'm forgetting something, but idols and advantages. Obviously, people know they could be hidden in each camp. You guys will find out watching over time if they were or weren't. But the one thing I will say I do think it was very fun that most of the last few seasons, especially the last couple of seasons, but it's always kind of been the mantra of you get to your camp, everyone's immediately running around, searching for all sorts of crap left and right. And I was kind of happy to really see everyone just kind of get to know each other and actually talk to each other, because at the end of the day, it is a very social game at its heart. And it is based on the social element and less on the actual, like, idols. Because again, we saw last season, you can find as many idols as you want. It does not mean that you're going to win. So I definitely like that they're taking the time to get to know each other. I'll definitely rope around back to this topic later on. Aleks, Steib, what do you think about pre-challenge Bulai?
I thought this tribe was very well balanced, and I thought they got along with each other very well until as the game progresses. We will see how that quickly develops, and it's very interesting dynamics there. Some very experienced players mixed in with some very socially accepted players that become friends with everybody. So I think it's very interesting to see what Bully Tribe gets up to right away in this first episode.
Yeah, like I agree. Like, plus there's like a lot of new like fun personalities to watch as well this season, and like everybody's really game heavy and like actually wants to play the game, and no one's like on the sideline just kind of just saying like when's this gonna be over with. So we do get a lot of good personalities and a lot of good kind of one-on-ones, like 2-on-2s with people. So you get this will be a fun season to watch if you're either just a fan or watching this for the first time. It'll be a really good season to watch.
I definitely agree to that. I don't feel like there's a lot of strategy going on at early Bulai, but then we end up roping around to, I believe it was Vuku, correct? Or am I pronouncing it wrong? I always feel like I was pronouncing it wrong the day of.
I'm pretty sure it's Vuku, yeah.
Okay, good.
Vuku.
Yeah, Vuku. So I do like that the tribes were named. I think one was smart and the other was composed. I forget. I want to say Vuku was composed, I think, and Bulai was smart. Don't quote me. I might be wrong with the translation. I was a communications major, not a language major, as you could probably tell. But the things I want to say, though, is I do like the tribe names. I thought it was a little cool touch. That was really fun. And with Vuku, you kind of see a quick four almost form with Taylor. I think it was Taylor, Natalie, Atticus, and I believe Tyler. I believe were the first four we kind of saw talking to each other. Again, not too much talking there, but you do kind of see those four start to talk, maybe exchange a little stuff they know, and then you kind of eventually see Will and Rebecca kind of walk in. I don't know if it's really too much to say for pre-challenge Vuku. I might be forgetting something. Aleks, Steib, what do you think about pre-challenge Vuku?
I thought it's another great tribe full of some absolute experienced players, and I would consider them to be assassins, because I, as somebody who only mainly produced the Bully tribe, I saw some of these people playing and I totally underestimated them, and they completely flew under not only my radar as production, but also the radars of everybody. And it's just so fun to see these players in this first episode just finally get those base connections going and begin to start their games in a very exciting, fast-paced way.
Yeah, this tribe is like a really heavy LRG tribe. You have Will, who's played so many. You have Taylor as well, who's played a lot as well. Tyler, who hosts the Minnesota LRG, and then Rebecca, who also hosts a produces one. So you have a lot of heavy hitters on this tribe, and it's a really, I don't know, like a really cohesive bunch right now. But we'll see what happens if they lose a tribe. I'll lose a challenge in the near future, hopefully. But yeah, we'll see some sparks fly eventually, I feel like. But right now, they're all kumbaya. They're all just ready to, play the game and just kick ass. So
every time I hear the word kumbaya, I think of the South Park episode with Walmart, and they just keep setting it on fire. I think of that every time I hear Kumbaya, and I kind of feel like we kind of start to see little fire erupt in the game at the first challenge. So unless there's something else we want to say before we go on.
No, keep it up. Keep it up.
Keep going.
All right. So the flames of the game erupt at the first challenge, where we get our very fun first challenge where we have, it's a round by round game where one person from each tribe will put their head against the bottom of a bat. They will spin themselves around on the go. They'll do it 4 times. Then they have to run out to an area in front of them, grab a ball, run back to their starting point, stand behind an indicated line, cone, whatever, and throw a ball into a bucket. The first tribe to 6 points wins immunity. Save for the vote. Losers, tribal council, will have to vote off the first person from the game. And actually, I shouldn't say too much about it because this actually was a very close challenge. I thought it was very fun.
I enjoyed it very much.
Oh yeah, it was really fun to watch.
Right, it was definitely fun to watch, and I do like that we are putting newer challenges in the mix, and that we're having all this fun stuff in the mix. You know, I do love the fact that it's more new challenges in the mix, more fun to watch. Like, I definitely love that, and this being a new challenge is like, this is one I wish I could have did like a while back. You know, like whether or not all challenges are going to be familiar to you guys or completely new, you'll have to find out. But I like it already. This is a very fun challenge that I really liked. Definitely came very close to where even Maddie almost pulls it off, gets another point, and then it whoop. I definitely thought it was really
I've never
fun.
seen a ball do that ever, where it just kind of spins on top of the bucket and just does not go in. That was
an
like
iconic
right
moment
there.
to start
That
the
was
season,
insane.
honestly.
Like, I really thought it was
I think we all
funny,
thought that was
like-
going in as well. I think we all thought that was going to go in, but I don't know, just gravity, I guess.
Maddie says, I got scammed. Ben says, I was impressed.
Basically.
Like,
We love that
Rebecca-
you're here in the chat. Thank you for being here.
Yeah, thank you guys for the comments. They're really fun. I'm trying to show all of them for you guys. I do think it's very fun though. All challenge. Before we get to the results of the challenge, does anyone want me to want to say anything else, or?
I do agree with Taylor saying that Nelly's face plant was actually really funny. I did not catch it the first time, but watching it now, like I totally saw, like, oh my god,
Tyler lost a shoe.
yeah, Tyler losing his shoe.
That was so good. Such a great
And then,
challenge.
like, Tyler versus who? It was Tyler versus Zach, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, where they just took
And then
forever.
you hear Christian in the
around,
background saying,
like,
"These are 2 of the worst
I
performances
saw
I've
that,
ever
and
seen
I'm
on
just like,
Survivor."
why is that?
It's
Look.
not Survivor, Wisconsin or Whitewater without Christian talking a little shit. Let's be honest.
It was definitely a fun
He's
challenge.
an icon.
I mean, even Ben agrees with us. Thank you, Ben. So unless we have anything big we want to say, I'm gonna move on to results.
Yeah.
Where
Go
the
ahead.
result was, let me get my knee. I'm wearing shorts. Vuku wins immunity with the final score of 6-4. Very close challenge, actually. And again, a really fun challenge. It's something I like to see when challenges are pretty close. It's not just one tribe dominating the other one. You know, I thought it was a really fun challenge. Aleks, Steib, anything you want to say about the tribes being very close with each other in the score?
Yeah, I thought that was a very competitive challenge. Both tribes wanted to win. Obviously, the best way to get far in this game is to just keep winning. It's that simple. If your tribe wins, you're in. That's how I got to 5th last, and that's how I got to 4th place on my last season. So if you just keep winning and keep your alliance strong, and if you just find a way to just stay safe, you can do a lot in this game, and you can make a big move and a big case to win the whole thing.
There you go. I have nothing else. Keep it moving.
Yeah, I just want to mention, I agree with that with Steib. The one season I actually did do pretty good in was partially because I basically made it almost all the way to that merge without getting voted out or even having to go to the tribal. But, you know, the challenges, they help. But again, like idols, you can win as many challenges as you want, and it doesn't mean anything. We can win as many challenges, find as many idols as you want, but it doesn't mean you're going to win. It's a social game at the end. And we kind of start to see elements of this. I'll come back to it again. But we go to Vuku. And Vuku, I thought was a whole load of fun, where there's just quick alliances forming up. A lot of quick alliances forming up. If one of you guys want to take a gander at it, see what you think.
I can talk because I filmed them the whole time, so I kind of have
Yes, please do.
enough stuff to go off of. It was kind of fun seeing in Rebecca's confessionals that she knew John and Taylor were a thing, yet nothing really came out of that until later on. So that's kind of funny to see. And then just Rebecca knowing a lot of stuff before even, anything really happens. It's kind of crazy to know that she has so much insight on these players. And then you also have Will just being this like fan favorite funny guy on the tribe. And then what else do I have in my notes? And people kind of realizing that Will is going to be a big target if they keep him in the game a bit longer. So it's just kind of it is just kind of like, these people are playing hard even though they just won. So these people are just really game heavy now. So we'll see a lot more from them in the next couple of episodes. But right now they're really clocking on a lot of stuff, and they're right on a lot of stuff as well, probably. So.
Right, and I like that they're immediately looking to the other tribe, and they're like, I think I recognize this person. I think I know that. Before I get into some, I liked Steib. Is there anything else you want to say before I get into my thing, or?
Nothing other than congrats to the Vuku tribe on the first win, and we'll see if that momentum can carry through for the remaining episodes of this season of Survivor Wisconsin.
All right, so then I really liked in Vuku how we do kind of get to know little bits and pieces of each person as they're clocking each other for what's going on and everyone else in the game. I kind of feel like we really get some cool stuff about Tyler, about Atticus, really cool stuff about. I really personally loved Rebecca's content where she's talking about how she's a little, how she's like spinning around, and we get a little thing for spinning around. I'm like, I love it. Rebecca is definitely one of my favorites. But, I really do like this cast. Right now, Rebecca's one of my favorites just for that fun little clip there. But, I can't wait to see more of everyone and be able to get to know even more of the cast through the episodes. This is a very fun cast. And I'm really excited. Again, we kind of have, Natalie, Rebecca, Tyler clocking people, Atticus clocking people, Taylor and Will are definitely clocking people. It's a fun cast. So I don't know if I have anything else. It's a funny comment. Rich Dog picking favorites early.
What's new?
When Red goes to tribal, it's gonna be juicy. Yeah. It could be. If they go to tribal, you never know. You don't know if they're gonna go to tribal. We do, but you guys don't. So let's move on to Bulai before tribal, unless you guys have anything else you want to say.
No, just no. Vuku is, if they go to tribal, they're gonna be swinging hands because there is so many power players on this tribe that it's going to go down. That's really all I've got to say about that. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah,
so
we're gonna go.
Yeah, Ben is right. We're gonna talk about Maddie's tribe and Ben's tribe, Bulai. And this is a fun tribe. I got to see a lot of what happened in this round because I was filming this tribe, so I had a lot of fun with seeing everything going on. There is some kind of a lot of fun dynamics pop up. Again, we already saw maybe a little bit this early on if I didn't touch on it fully. But we had a lot of interesting dynamics of Ben and John starting to pair up with each other on the basis of that they're teachers, having that connection with each other, which Ben's lie coming to help him in this situation. We see a lot of Ben and Maddie, even early on too, and after the challenge, where they're both bonding from living in similar areas. We see a lot of interesting stuff with like Kira coming up to John and being like, hey, we need to stick together. You see Maddie and Annika start to talk. Zach's kind of talking to like everyone. There are 3 targets that do emerge, and after I say this, I'll take it over to you guys in case you guys want to say something next. Where the 3 names I remember hearing, I remember Zach's name got thrown out at one point between Annika and Maddie, and then the majority of the talks go to Maddie versus Annika. So what did you guys think of that and the pre-tribal talks before I say anything else about it?
Yeah. So going back to the Blue Light camp, I was surprised on how quick people kind of started forming alliances. You know, you have Ben and Zach kind of forming a tight bond. You have Kira and John forming a tight bond. You have Maddie and John talking for a bit. You have who else we have? But yeah, Annika and Maddie. So it's like there's a lot of talking going on, and people are starting to get these bonds with people who they hope can take them far in the game. So there is a lot of talking about trusting these 2 and even 3 player alliances going right now in this first vote off. So things to keep an eye on, really.
Steib, what do you guys say about it?
I think it's very interesting to watch. You have 6 talented players, and you see the alliances they're quickly making. There's a lot of people to root for here and a lot of good players to root for. And unfortunately, as someone who's been eliminated first on 2 seasons, it's not a good feeling at the first tribal if you are the losing tribe and you got to get rid of somebody. It is a nice little bonus, however, that they are getting Maris when this person gets evicted or eliminated from the game, voted off. And it's going to be interesting to see how this tribe moves forward through the tribal and how they're going to move forward in this game.
Yeah, I did actually forget to mention that earlier on in the live stream, so thanks for bringing that up, Steib. Amaris is on exile, but she does join the losing tribe after they vote someone out. And I definitely think that's definitely parts of the strategy that start to come up, where there's a lot of talks about who's talking with who may know who. I definitely think was very interesting. I do think ultimately it kind of comes down to Annika versus Maddie, where the talks kind of come down to, this left and right stuff. And you kind of start to see Maddie's social game start to take off pretty decently well for the time being, because she does form these bonds. I mean, people say, like, I really like this tribe. I really like this group. I really like Maddie. I really like the bonds I have with her. I definitely think that was very interesting. You definitely see kind of people start to say they like Annika, but then Annika starts saying stuff along the lines of like, I'm voting off of Panic. I think it's something that I remember hearing, and I'm like, girl, you never want to say that, but like,
I don't want to say something.
Yeah.
The biggest thing is that Annika did not really throw a name out there either. Once she kind of heard that her name was getting thrown out, she's like, and then like she's like, oh, okay, so now I need to start, making some moves here. But like, it was really like her issue was just she didn't throw out a name at all, and her name was one of the first to be thrown out. So that's kind of the biggest thing during the first vote off. You just cannot be the first person to have their name be thrown out, really. And she didn't do the best job of kind of deflecting her name off of other people. She didn't really throw out a name either. So that's kind of her biggest downfall was going to be that.
Well, and coming from someone who's also been in her spot, like I've played a lot of times in the Idol Identifiers Survivor series. 4 of those times I've been out before round 3. And the big thing I will say is that you never want to be the first person to throw out a name. And, obviously with so much going on, maybe you don't always know your name's being thrown out there, but I do kind of agree. You shouldn't be going off and saying something like, I'm going to vote off of Panic. You do need to eventually kind of say a name. And yeah, you do kind of eventually need to kind of say some names, start talking more, and I think Annika kind of just not fully throwing out a name definitely kind of worried people because, again, you don't want to throw it out too early, but you don't want to be not throwing out a name at all because then who goes out? You go out. I learned that the hard way. Steib, what do you think about all this?
It's very, it's unfortunate. It's an unfortunate part of the game, but eventually some people will have to come to that consensus and just decide that, all right, if we want to move forward, somebody else is going to have to go. And then they unite on that. And that's just the simplest way to go about it. It's unfortunate how it always comes down to that. And there always just tends to be one name that just gets picked up for everybody. And then they all just get in unison. And then it's kind of cold. But unfortunately, it's a fun part of the game. And it remains to be seen what will come to the Bully tribe with their actions at this tribal council.
I do think that this is a big theme this season is who is going to throw out the first name, really. I feel like that's going to be a big theme of this season.
A lot of friendliness going on.
Oh, yeah.
We can't all be friends forever.
But I also do think that Ben right now is probably the most insulated person on this tribe. People were going up to Ben and talking with him and like trying to form stuff with him. You know, you have Zach, you have John, you have Maddie, just all going towards Ben and trying to get, you know, numbers or even just like talking with them and, you know, trying to form something with them. So right now, Ben, I feel like, in my opinion, is the most insulated person on that tribe.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that because, I mean, we even see, I think it was right before Tribal Council. We see right before Tribal Council where a lot of the decision comes down to Ben and John and what do Ben and John want, where Ben is very smartly saying, like, I think this is a good idea. I want this, but I'm good with whatever you guys want to do, which is definitely the right way to approach that situation because from my last time playing, I was approached with that and I was like, hell no. And because I was very stubborn and not wanting to go a certain way, I got taken out because of it. So Ben kind of being very flexible is definitely a great thing to do early on, especially with John, who also seems to be getting his grip in the game very well, getting his footing well. He has Kira on his side. And then despite Kira being seemingly in a good spot, I kind of feel like they start to kind of look at her as like, we can have Maddie as a secondary vote and have Maddie in a secondary vote and just throw the blood onto Kira or something of that sort. If I recall correctly, I may not be word for word with it, but it was something along that point. Which definitely kind of said that, like, Kira is decently positioned, but it does show that, like, it does kind of show off how, I guess, like, not, like, if your alliance is very much, like, we did kind of see is in a past season Battle Royale. I'm not going to say too much into it just because of the fact that I want you guys to go watch our past seasons as well. Like, they're really fun. Star Battle Royale, we did kind of see elements of this where, you know, there was a person who was aligned with the big people in charge, but they weren't really aligned. Like, they were willing to throw them out. So is Kira that person? Who knows? You never really fully know until you really see the whole season air out. But Kira is decently positioned, but then them being willing to kind of say, like, let's let the blood fall into Kira is not the best sign for Kira, even though I really would hope Kira gets to show off her skills. I do want to say, again, roping back to what I was saying earlier, there's still not much talk or searching of idols or advantages. And every season I was in, first thing, darting off, which I never liked because I wanted to get to know my tribe. I wanted to talk to my tribe, you know? I didn't like that it was all, again, everyone's like, I need to find the idol, when it should be, I need to talk to my tribe mates. Because you can get an idol first, play it, and then still be targeted the very next round for it, and then just, boom, have that whole thing be wasted. So the fact that they're actually being smart enough to not look for idols, but look for conversations and look for the security in the game is the smartest way for all 6 of them to go. Whether or not they all handle that part of it the best way is perspective. But I definitely think at least them knowing, like, hey, I can't rely on idols. The game revolves around the people, the social bonds, and all of that. I definitely like that. So, Steib, Aleks, anything else you want to say before we get to Tribal?
I would have been panicking a little more, and I would have certainly been trying to look for idols, at least somewhat. there was a lot of conversating going on. So I found that interesting.
Aleks, anything you got to say?
I feel like the bonds made in these first 3 episodes is going to kind of show how either the post-merge or even the end of the pre-merge is going to kind of show where lines are going to be drawn. We have really tight bonds right now with this first episode on both tribes, and it is really going to be interesting to see how it all plays out with alliances and relationships and just kind of a whole shebang, really. So let's get to tribal.
All right, let's get to tribal then. So, we go to the tribal council, and we do have just kind of the general talking, although I did say I like the questions. I think I went in through this with Devin last season, where I don't like it when the questions are too simple, because we can't spoon feed the game on easy mode to new players, regardless whether they're all new or half new or whatever. I do like that a lot of these questions were somewhat simple, but also very much you do have to actually think about it to have a good answer for it, because a lot of these answers could have very different meanings depending on how you perceive them. Again, perspective is key. I've said that numerous times over the last 5 years almost 5 years now since my first season. Yeah, I definitely think it's a very interesting tribal. I don't think too much is gotten out of it. Before I reveal the results of the first vote, Steib, Aleks, what did you think of tribal council in general?
Yeah, it looked like not a lot of people didn't really want to leak too much about what their plans are, and it seemed kind of set in stone going into it. But people were still trying to, make it seem like it's more, more bigger than it really is, of course. But tribal wasn't really, tribal wasn't really anything special. It's just kind of a, the first boot episode's not really gonna be insane with tribal council, so it's really just
my thoughts as well. Yeah.
It's gonna be this person just kind of gets screwed over, but that's just kind of how the game goes. So
yeah,
nothing really too big. Not
as it was revealed though, whoever gets eliminated gets put in the battle back.
Bombs,
so they're not exactly eliminated yet. They have a second life.
Russell Hands or Tony Vlachos type stuff going on here, but it's the first vote off, so can't really get what you get.
Stop. You got anything you want to say before I reveal the result of the first vote?
No, I'm excited. Let's get to the votes of the first tribal council.
All right, so we do get to the votes, and by a result of 5-1, Annika is the first person voted off of Survivor Wisconsin New Blood, which is really unfortunate because I flat out thought she was at least gonna crack further into the game before potentially getting voted out. Obviously, she does have that chance to get back in the game. You never know. She could get back in the game. Maybe she will, maybe she won't. Depends on who else she has to go up against. But I didn't think she was going to get voted out first. But again, all because you're voted out early on, we've seen in past seasons where people get voted out first, they can jump back in the game. You never know.
Yep.
But I'd never expected Annika to be the first voted out in any situation, comeback or not. Annika, I definitely think, has a lot of potential, especially with how she was at least aware, somewhat. I don't want to say somewhat aware. I definitely think she was aware enough of her surroundings to recognize that the vote was coming down to her and Maddie by the end of it, because she does throw that vote onto Maddie. I think after people kind of tell her. I don't know. Aleks, Steib, what do you guys think about it?
I do agree that she had a lot more game to play. Again, it just kind of sucks how, sometimes if you don't play hard in the first kind of tribal, you just kind of get screwed over. And if you do play hard, you also get screwed over. So it's just kind of finding that happy medium in the first stage of the game to really kind of coach your way through, and then kind of play harder, of course, when you get to the post merge. But it's just kind of unlucky for Annika that she kind of just got kind of screwed right from the beginning when her name just got thrown out. I do think she really has a potential to come back for a second chance season if she does want to. So that's why
if she doesn't come back and win.
Come back and win?
Yeah, if she doesn't come back and win through the comeback, then if there is a second chance season and she's on it though.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what he means.
Yeah. Steib, do you have anything to say about it before I say my thoughts?
No, what do you got to say?
Yeah, I definitely kind of agree with Aleks on the same thing. You know, this is like I think the third or fourth-ish season in a row where we've had someone go out, the first tribal council that we all kind of looked at with our jaws dropped. Like first boot of last season, we were all shocked that they were first out. Captain's Curse 2 seasons ago, we were all like I can't believe this person got voted off first. And then it's like, again, like there's so many times where you never think the person voted off first is going to be well, I shouldn't say that, because if you go back a couple seasons to one of my last seasons, it is very obvious I'm the first out. I even call
Evolution.
it right, but no, I was going to say Kevin.
Not that one.
But let's not. I don't want
Cabin
to spoil
Fever.
too much about it because I want people to watch past seasons. But long story short, you never think the first person out is going to be the first person out. Like I think it'd be very fun if we get enough people who were out first that haven't come back yet, like to like on a first boot season or something like that, or even like a second chance season where we put all
It's a fun idea.
one tribe, you know, like I definitely think
I'll be a big fan for a second chance season. That's always fun to do.
right.
Absolutely.
Like if Annika definitely, I agree with you guys. Annika has more game to play. Whether or not she gets to play it this season or if she has to wait for a return to come back in the game, who knows? Annika has potential. I definitely think that 100%. Is there anything else you guys have to say before I kind of go into some other stuff?
No, carry on.
I thought it was a great first episode, and I'm excited to see the next one.
Okay, that answers my next question. So I was about to ask what your guys' general thoughts on the premiere were.
It was one of the better ones.
Exciting
I will say, you know, this season's has been really, you know, hyped up. You know, it's been one of the first seasons we've done that. Like, I've been really excited to, you know, watch the whole thing. And, you know, I'm not gonna skip any episodes, of course. You know, I'm really excited to see how this all plays out, and the cast is just amazing.
I definitely agree with all of that. I'm very excited for new episodes. I'm very excited to see what happens. Obviously, we know what happens, but you guys don't know what happens. So, you know, it's going to, see, Steib's going to, like, that's us. So, it's really fun. These are all really fun. Oh, and I did forget this little thing. The episode was titled For the Kids. Yeah, because
hell yeah, man.
John and Ben's little alliance, which I loved.
Shout out to the teachers. The teachers are the real heroes. 4 of my immediate family members are teachers. Yeah, shout out to the teachers.
Thanks, Ben, for teaching.
I have a lot of friends of mine who were teachers in college. I almost became a teacher myself, and then I kind of looked at certain things for it, and I'm like, could I really do this? I don't think so. So, like, anyone who is a teacher, I have a lot of respect for them because they have to deal with so much crap in the field of education that I don't know if I'd be able to ever do that. So, like, if you are a teacher, mad respect to you because you're already doing stuff that I know I would not be able to do. Yeah, but I mean, speaking of that, and education, they kind of help with the future of kids' lives. Maybe some of those kids will play our Survivor in the future. But I do know, so from, I had a really good segue and I got distracted by some fun comments. I will say there is a question we have, but I will say it after I go into this one part here. Because we do have, speaking of the future of kids, like maybe they'll play us someday, but we have to focus on the current future, like the next episode, which, if I recall correctly, I believe the next episode will be airing on, let me double check my calendar, Thursday, June 12th, again, 6 p.m. Central Time. Episode 2 will be airing that day. I do have a little preview thing. Some of you guys will remember last season or breakdowns, I did this fun little thing. I have a little intro thing. I actually prepped it this time. Well, Devin helped me prep it this time. Devin prepped it. And here's a preview for episode 2. An exile player joins the game, and a performance and a challenge begins a rift amongst some tribe mates. What does that mean? Who knows? What you guys will get to know right away is something that Devin wanted us to ask you guys. Say each of your favorite contestants so far. So, you guys go first. I need a water.
I can start. So way back when we were setting up stuff way in the beginning, I made my winner pick before the thing was even filmed, and I still like this player, and I really hope he makes it far. Tyler is my winner pick from way before we even filming this season. I picked Tyler because he's just this guy. People I think will really underestimate his gameplay, and I feel like that he will make a good run, and he's a really well-spoken guy as well. So there you go. That's my pick.
I agree. I think Tyler is a fantastic pick. There's a lot of great players on the Vuku tribe that I didn't necessarily see play too close. There were a lot of great players on the Bully tribe, and I've got to say my favorite after episode 1's got to be Zach. He's from Iowa. He doesn't know anybody, but he's just so wholesome, and he's a really great person on the show and a great character, and he gets to be friends with a lot of people really easily, and I think that can take him pretty far in the game of Survivor.
For me, I don't know. It's hard for me to pick a favorite only because I really do there's good content we get out of everyone, whether it's game thing, personal content. For me, one of my early favorites when I was watching the first couple minutes of the game unfold. I cannot speak today. I almost said rounds when I meant minutes. I'm so. This is normal for people watching. I cannot speak right half the time. One of my personal favorites in the premiere round was definitely Ben and Maddie. They popped out for me for some reason. They were definitely two of my early favorites for the premiere. Especially because of the fact that we get so much fun little content of Maddie working her social game and even kind of getting saved because she ends up talking to people and bonding well. She's not afraid to say what she's thinking in regards to the vote. You got Ben's little thing with I'm a teacher, I'm an insurance agent. There's fun little stuff with that. Whether or not it goes far, who knows? Going into the game, I will say my winner pick was John. Because I was kind of looking and I'm like, oh, he definitely is pretty interesting. I will say before I go on, if you guys have if people watching have any questions only about the premiere, put it in the comments and then we'll try to answer it. I'll keep the questions only about the premiere. But I do definitely think that John has a good chance to win. I think a lot of these people could win, if you're doing winner analysis on this,
it's hard.
Right. Who knows? We have a lot of really great.
It's open right now.
Yeah.
Right. We have a lot of great players, and that's something I feel
a lot of secret alliances. It's very fun to watch.
Right. Every season we've done so far, I feel like it's been pretty obvious who the winners are going to be or who the actual contenders are going to be. Last season, very obvious who was actually in contention to win after episode 1, with a potential winner contender being taken out in the premiere. Captain's Curse 2 seasons ago. It wasn't right away, but by the time you hit the merge, you kind of start to get a feel for who actually could be a contention to win. Although I would argue it wasn't full on obvious until maybe closer to the end game, but still kind of obvious throughout the ways. Evolution, you kind of have a very obvious route throughout Evolution, which is why I honestly put Evolution one of the bottom 2 of my rankings because it's so obvious what's going to happen throughout the entire time. Almost every season except for a few, you can kind of tell who the real contenders are, who's kind of irrelevant. Yeah, but this season, no one's really irrelevant. You kind of get to see everything from everyone, and that's what I like. We don't know if there are going to be rivalries popping up yet. I know the LRG group was having a little talk with Devin last week, and I think they were talking about potential rivalries that they'd want to see. I don't know.
Shout out to that live reality games channel.
Yeah, shout out to them too for kind of like giving us a shout out. We really like that. We appreciate that. You know, much love.
Yeah.
And if you're interested in more LRGs, they got their own Survivor at IU LRG going on that they posted the finale of tonight, actually. So that's what I'm going to go watch when I'm done live streaming this.
We have past player Corey, Richie versus me, top 2 rivalry of all time. I don't know if I'd say it was a rivalry, Corey. I wanted to play with you. You were the one trying to knock my ass out in a final 6 for no reason. I was going to take you another... Actually, that's a lie. I was trying to knock him out, too. Although I really would say that was a iconic rivalry for the season at hand, though. Like, that was such a fun season. I'd love to play with a lot of people again, but, like... It's just really fun. I love seeing all these fun comments, you know. If there's any questions you guys do want us to ask, if there's any questions that you guys do want us to answer that you want to ask, do it right now before the live ends, because it probably will be ending in a little bit. But I think I definitely answered it. Did you guys both answer what you thought for your winner predictions?
I do want to add 2 more players that kind of stuck out to me a bit more while filming the first couple of episodes. Rebecca was also a top player for me, and then also Maddie. So those 3 I was really high on. And yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah, like honest to God, I think there's a lot of people. Atticus was someone in a premiere that definitely popped out for me a little bit with how he was able to easily analyze stuff, very easily. Everything being like, I think I'm very well aware of this. Like Atticus definitely popped out for me. Rebecca being very, I do think Rebecca's content was very funny. I forgot to mention this earlier, where she said that she knew John and Taylor and that they were trying to sorry, Devin, I'll answer your question after I'm done. Say my thing. Where Rebecca was talking about how she does close casting some LRG things she was doing, I believe in Iowa, I believe. And how she said they didn't have John and Taylor on it. She's like, I know John and Taylor, and I thought that was pretty funny content right there.
Well, let's get into Devin's question.
Who is a player you each from the past would like to see play again who only played once and never won? Don't include people from this season, though. Spoilers, LOL. Hint, hint, maybe future season. Obviously, second chance is one of the big things we have left to do, I feel like. But I love a second chance season. Who's a player? Okay, do we want to do one from Wisconsin and one from Whitewater? Because I
don't have anybody from Whitewater, actually.
Well, you don't know Whitewater, Alex. Okay, sorry.
Why?
Do you want to do? Do we each want to do like
Whitewater's also in the past? No.
Well, there's still. Who knows? Maybe there could be players from Whitewater.
Get with the times.
So my top 3 right now. I'll just go first. I'll just do my top 3.
Okay, that's good.
I'm gonna do Tegan from Captain's Curse, Alejandro from One World, and let me think of this third one here. I will just do this season, and I'll just actually I probably shouldn't do this season. Yep, Corey. Yes, I will say that. It's always tolerated.
Corey, Whitewater slander is not tolerated here, Alex. Remember respect your elders, Alex.
Nope. I'll stick with those 2. How about that? I can't think of a third.
I'm sorry, it was Tegan and Alejandro?
I'll go with Amy, yeah. I'll say get Will back on the cast.
To get what in the cast?
Will back on the cast.
Well, if he has
Will was also another favorite. Well,
he's still a chancer. Anyways.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And no, I'm looking forward to seeing more of his game. Yeah. He's another favorite of mine.
Yeah, Will's really great so far from what we've seen. We could see more from him this season, and maybe Will could win. Steib, what are your 3? I'm definitely gonna try to say if we can like pick separate names from each other. Like I said, just don't include players from this season.
Yeah. I don't know. I was thinking the same ones, the recent ones, like Alejandro. I'd like to see Dominic play again. from Captain's Curse. Yeah, him too. I'm not sure if I can think of a third.
For me, I'm definitely going to go old school with like Whitewater because as Corey said, Whitewater slander is not tolerated here. I got to give
Fair
some
enough.
shout outs to my homies too. Giselle from Battle Royale, I'd love to see her come back. Like, it's almost criminal that she hasn't come back at this point. Giselle is someone who I think it's definitely one of the bigger three I'd love to see back. Grant, who last played in Survivor Whitewater 8, Blood versus Water. Another person I would also love to see back. Grant was someone who I definitely think had a lot of potential in the game, and I think had he made it past a little further, he possibly could have had a really deep run, especially, he has, I was going to make a joke about his family lineage and, like, how they are all strong, but, like, I don't know if it would have came off the way I thought it would. And another person I would really like to see back is Jacob from Survivor Wisconsin 1. I'd like to call it a new beginning. Some people call it Wisconsin 1. You can call it whatever. Jacob was fun. He was like very out there. He was willing to like jump on and just like, I think he had the Steib, I think you might remember. Didn't he have a confessional where he squirted like a lemon in his eye or something? Like,
yeah, it was like a post-tribe, like post-competition, like celebration of some kind, or maybe it was a self-punishment. I forget which.
Right? Like, I'm not gonna like those. I definitely think are my big three for sure. But I'd love to see Jasper back. I love from Cabin Fever. I'd like to see Liz back from Summer Solstice. Amelia and Isabella and Tegan are from Captain's Curse. I'd love to see back as well. Dominic would be fun. Even from last season, like Miranda and Caitlin, I would love to see back. I think they definitely have potential as players in the game. Some people may remember Miranda was one of my 3 winner picks for last season. And then there's even like some other fun names we've gotten over the years, like way back Griffin from Winter War. We had even Cole from Fans vs. Favorites, Thomas from Fans vs. Favorites. I'd like to see back as well. Devin did say a couple of ideas who he wants to see again. Nothing's ever confirmed, so even if this does happen, doesn't mean any of these players would be on here. Sal, Griffin, Jacob, Jasper, and Amelia. Okay, that's a good list right there. I think it'd be funny if we did second chances and we had Liz. I see Liz from Summer Solstice as a very no-nonsense player. And putting her on a tribe with like chaotic people like Amelia, Jacob, and Jasper, I think would just be the funniest thing ever. Just kind of see her be like, oh, this is my tribe, and just kind of have them all be like running around screaming. Like, I think it'd be funny. Matthew was saying Kyle Wilson is who he's referring to. Kyle Wilson played, as some of you may not remember in Cabin Fever, Kyle Wilson played the Survivor SNC series when I hosted. He won because he had his friends on the jury. I shouldn't say that about him because, I mean, he did have a great final tribal performance, but yeah, thank God that never aired. No, Kyle played Cabin Fever, did not do the best. Not spoiling anything, go watch it, but that would be funny. Corey said he wants him and Espen on a team together so he can just I mean, Corey, if you want to tag team Corey, just let me know. I want some revenge. All jokes, Matty Ice. Yeah, I mean, honestly, there's so many people I'd love to see back. Like, even like some underrated names for me. Sorry, not to drone on too long, you guys. I'm sorry. Leah from Blood vs. Water, the one who got to the runner-up spot, I think actually would have potential in return. I don't think she really played the worst. I definitely think, again, I have some more niche picks, Like, I think Riley from Battle Royale would be fun to see back. There's a lot of names I could really see back. Dion from all the way from Heroes vs. Villains, the one right before my first season. I think that'd be a fun where they all called him DeAndre Fairplay, if I remember correctly. Yeah, the little blue Hawaiian shirt. Oh, what's this comment? Richie, you wish you could get me out. Yeah, I don't think I have to try that hard. Aleks, shut the hell up. I saw that you typed that in. I saw you. Shut the hell up. I'm gonna vote you out now just because you said that. I hope you know that. I will vote you off, and I'll like in my
I will pay him back. I will give him an idol and save him.
In my confessional, I'll get an idol nullifier then, just like I did in Fans versus Favorites. I will hold it up and be like, I have a nice seat on the pre-jury, nice and warm. It's reserved from your last time from Evolution. Then why didn't you the last couple times we played? Because Cabin Fever, I'm not going to go into depth with this because I'm going to rabbit trail. Because Zach did not like me. I got mad. I wouldn't vote on Aleks. And then Cabin Fever is on a tribe of 3 friends. And in Wisconsin 1, I didn't play that bad. Wisconsin 1, I didn't play good. That was on me. That's a
Are you
short
ready to close this off?
If you want to find out more
Yeah,
about
I think we're ready to go.
past seasons, go watch all of our past seasons on Idol Identifiers. You want to keep up with current events, go watch. Go watch us on Instagram at Idol Identifiers. Devin has one more thing he wants us to talk about before we go. One theme we each want to see in a future season that we haven't done yet. You guys go first.
Well, easily one of them is, of course, second chance. We've got probably a lot of players that can easily come back for a second chance. It's just getting them to play again is going to be the hardest part about it. What else?
I have one, unless you guys
maybe
want
on our blood versus water, but again, it's not a new one, but
yeah,
that'd be kind of fun. There's probably a lot of cross connections, but for sure, second chance.
I definitely think one. I actually heard an international version of Survivor did this. I believe it was a South African version where they took it was an all returnee season where they took people who had played in the past, and I'll give like one newbie idea and one returning idea. They took all people who were voted out pre-merge, early boots in their season, and they put them on one tribe, and on another tribe, it was all people who had also played before, but they did not make the finals, but they were jurors. So essentially it was jury versus pre-jury, which I thought that was kind of an interesting pick. I didn't watch a season. I'm actually in the process of watching the international seasons because I've heard a lot of good things about them. I'm watching Australian Survivor season 3 of the modern day one. So I definitely think it's really good. The newbie idea, maybe this newbie idea is a little controversial, but I didn't even notice a little bit this premiere where Kira started talking about how some people were saying that they need to vote off a girl, keep the tribe strong. Last season, there was content about that early on, which I'm kind of like, okay, why? But it kind of got me thinking that, what if there was a season of all women and another all newbie season of all men? I think that could be very interesting as back-to-back themes, if that could change the social dynamics of any of it. That's a theme I think would be really interesting to see. Steib, what do you think? What are themes that we haven't done yet that you'd be interested in seeing?
I think those are good suggestions, and my suggestions would be admittedly pretty simple, but they might be a little harder to cast. It would be something age-based, something perhaps like Gen X versus Millennials, or perhaps Millennials versus Gen Z. That could be interesting to see age dynamics in the differences between the generations.
That's really
I
fun.
feel like the more people we get watching this, the more we get an outreach, and we were able to get a wide range of age participants here in this season. So I think we can just keep going and see how that goes. Maybe we could get that going.
Yeah, like that, or something like Worlds Apart, where you have occupational tribes, kind of like that. You have the blue collar, and then you have white collar, and then no collar, kind of.
That's a fun one.
Yeah.
Okay, so one thing I actually forgot to mention. This is an idea I think would be so fun to do for an all newbie season. I call it Relative Madness, but the idea of it would be that it's an all newbie thing, but every new player is related to a past player. So I think that could be a really fun thing. Obviously, we wouldn't I don't think we would probably say who's related to who, but I think that would be a really fun theme of who could be related to who, if they would have two people would have the same dynamic that their loved ones did, or if they would even know of each other. Hopefully not. I think that'd make it more entertaining. Obviously, casting would be harder for that, but it'd still be pretty fun, you know. So, is there unless there's any other ones you guys want to say, we can start closing it out officially now.
Yeah, close it out.
Let's close up.
Yeah.
Okay, so again, if you guys want to go watch our past seasons or watch a premiere again, if you haven't already watched it, which if you haven't already, why the hell are you watching this? Go watch our premiere. Go watch all of our past seasons. They are so much fun. You get to see me flop so many times. It's actually really funny. Jokes aside, go follow us on Instagram, like and subscribe for all of our stuff. Our next episode is this Thursday, June 12th, 6 p.m. Central. Later that night, we will be back to give our reactions to that, answer more of you guys' questions, and just have a fun time. So again, thank you guys so much for watching. I've been Richie. These have been my co-hosts today. Oh, I thought you guys were going to say your names. Okay, thank you. Make me look stupid, guys.
Aleks.
Aleks Steib, rhymes with tribe, baby.
There we go.
All right, thank you guys
Thanks for watching. Like and share.
Yeah, like and share, like and subscribe, comment, whatever. Have a great night, you guys. Thank you so much for watching.